Sonu was no ordinary guy. He was the life of every party, even in the afterlife. Yamraj, the stern lord of death, had his hands full with this one. Known for his quick wit and even quicker comebacks, Sonu kept the underworld chuckling. "Sonu, where is your file?" Yamraj boomed, his voice echoing through the Hall of Records. "How many times have I told you to keep your paperwork in order?" Sonu, munching on a samosa, strolled in casually. "Relax, Yamraj-ji, it's just paperwork, not a Bollywood thriller," he quipped, winking at a passing Apsara. "See, Chitragupta-ji, it's like this," Sonu argued, pointing at a line in the massive ledger of deeds. He was trying to make a case for his actions, hoping to sway the celestial accountant. The ledger was filled with countless entries, each representing a deed, good or bad, performed by mortals. Sonu's entry, however, was a bit more complicated. "Eating that last gulab jamun? That was an act of selflessness," Sonu exclaimed, his eyes wide with sincerity. He believed that his actions, though seemingly trivial, had a deeper meaning. The gulab jamun, a sweet delicacy, was not just a treat, but a symbol of his care for others. "My friend was feeling down, needed a sugar rush," Sonu explained, his voice softening as he recalled the moment. He had seen the sadness in his friend's eyes, and knew that a small gesture could make a big difference. The gulab jamun was his way of showing support and lifting his friend's spirits. Chitragupta, the celestial accountant, scratched his head, unsure how to categorize this. The rules of karma were clear, but this situation was anything but. He had never encountered a case where a sweet treat was linked to an act of kindness. The complexity of human emotions and actions often left him puzzled. Yamraj rubbed his temples, already feeling a headache coming on. The constant debates and justifications from mortals were exhausting. He had a realm to manage, souls to judge, and the last thing he needed was another convoluted argument. Yet here he was, caught in the middle of another celestial conundrum. Section 4. The Case of the Missing Mango Lassi. The climax of their morning squabble arrived with a missing mango lassi, Yamraj's favorite, Sonu admitted. The air was thick with tension as Yamraj's eyes narrowed, focusing on the telltale stain around Sonu's mouth. The room fell silent, everyone waiting for Sonu's response. "You drank my lassi," Yamraj accused, his frown deepening. His voice was stern, leaving no room for doubt. The accusation hung in the air, heavy and unyielding. Sonu's eyes darted around, looking for an escape. Sonu, feigning shock, pointed at a nearby monkey. "It wasn't me!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with mock innocence. The monkey, with its mischievous grin, seemed like the perfect scapegoat. "It wasn't me, Yamraj-ji!" Sonu's voice wavered slightly, but he maintained his innocent facade. He hoped that his act would be convincing enough to divert Yamraj's suspicion. "That mischievous fellow is the culprit." Sonu pointed emphatically at the monkey, trying to shift the blame. The monkey, holding a mango lassi, looked guilty but also amused by the unfolding drama. Yamraj didn't buy it for a second. His skepticism was evident as he crossed his arms and raised an eyebrow. He knew Sonu too well to be fooled by such a flimsy excuse. The mystery of the missing mango lassi was far from over. Section 5. Laughter in the Afterlife. Suddenly, Sonu burst into laughter, unable to hold it in any longer. His laughter echoed through the ethereal halls, bouncing off the walls and filling the space with an infectious joy. It was as if the very essence of happiness had taken over him, and he couldn't contain it any longer. All right, you caught me!" Sonu exclaimed, raising his hands in mock surrender. His eyes sparkled with mischief, and a wide grin spread across his face. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, and everyone around him couldn't help but join in the laughter. "I confess, the mango lassi was irresistible," Sonu admitted, holding up a glass of the delicious drink with a guilty look. The creamy, sweet beverage had been too tempting to resist, and he had indulged without a second thought. The others nodded in understanding, knowing all too well the allure of the mango lassi. Yamraj, seeing the twinkle in Sonu's eyes, couldn't help but chuckle. The usually stern and serious figure found himself softened by Sonu's infectious spirit. It was a rare sight to see Yamraj so relaxed. and it added to the light-hearted atmosphere of the moment. After all, who could stay angry with Sonu for long? His endearing nature and lovable expression made it impossible to hold a grudge. Even in the afterlife, where things could get monotonous, Sonu's presence was a breath of fresh air. Their arguments were just another source of entertainment in the otherwise predictable afterlife. The playful banter and light-hearted disagreements added a touch of excitement to their day. It was these moments of levity that made the afterlife a little more bearable and a lot more fun.